Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second meeting of our class in Java programming. Okay, so today, guys, in this lesson, we will be discussing lesson 2.1, which is about Java basic syntax. Okay, so in this video, I will be talking about here the different basic syntax that you can use in Java, and also I will be explaining here what are classes, what are objects, what are methods. Okay, so what's gonna happen here, guys, is I will discuss this Google slide presentation first that you will see in your Google Classroom. So I will attach this Google slide presentation in your Google Classroom as well. So you can just open this Google slide, open your Google Classroom, click this link on the Google slide so you can follow what I will be discussing in this discussion. All right. So last week, I've discussed the flowchart and also the introduction to Java, and I've shown you some examples, and also I also showed you how to install the IDE that we are going to use in our Java classes. Okay, and that IDE is NetBeans IDE. So I hope and I believe that you already have your NetBeans IDE in your computers so that you can follow what I will be doing in the discussion for today. All right, so let's start, guys, by me clicking this present button here. All right. Okay, so now this is the first slide, and this is our lesson for today, basic syntax in Java programming. All right. So when we consider a Java program, it can be defined as a collection of objects that communicate using or by invoking each other's methods. Okay. So what does it mean? So in Java, we're going to deal with a lot of objects. Okay, and those objects can communicate with each other using the method of each other. Okay, later I will show you some examples of objects and methods. So let us now briefly look into what do class, object, methods, and instance variable mean. Okay, so first is the object. So objects have states and behaviors. Okay, that's the object. You have to remember that objects have states and behaviors. So for example, a dog. Okay, our example here is a dog. So a dog has states. So what are the examples of those states? So a dog has color, it has a name, it has a breed, and also it has a behavior. And the behavior is, for example, wagging their tail, barking, eating, jumping. Okay, those are behavior of a dog. And an object is an instance of a class. Okay, so meaning object is an instance of a class. Okay, so what is class? So class can be defined as a template or blueprint that describes the behavior or the state that the object of its type supports. Okay, so meaning inside the class, that is where you will describe the behavior of an object, okay, or the state of an object. Okay, so that is class. So if it's really confusing, I know it's confusing right now, but later as we proceed, you will understand it more as I give you examples. Okay, methods. So methods, a method is basically a behavior. Okay, a class can contain many methods. It is in methods where the logics are written, data is manipulated, and all the actions are executed. Okay, so in a simpler form of describing method, it is a behavior. Okay, object, let's go back to object. objects have states and behavior, right? And the example of behavior of a dog is wagging their tail, barking, and eating. Okay, that's behavior. And as you go here on methods, it says here that a method is basically a behavior. Okay, so method is behavior of an object. Okay, so all those wagging of the tail, barking, eating, jumping, those are methods. Okay, methods of an object. And in programming, in Java programming, methods, okay, this is where you put your program, where you manipulate your data, where you put some logic on your program like if else or looping. Okay, that is where you put all those inside methods. Okay, and then instance variables. So each object has its unique set of instance variables. An object state is created by the values assigned to this instance variable. So if you remember, guys, the kid bright variable that we talked about the last time, okay, so that's the same variable here in Java programming. Okay, you create variable where you put values, okay, that you will use in your program. Okay, so let's say you have to use the number for an age, right? So you have to create a variable that is named age or ages or dog age, like that. So any name, but it's a variable. So that is where you're going to put the value of your age. Okay, let's say the age is 20. So the number 20, you have to save it on the variable age. Okay, so each object has variable. Okay, so you can create variable in each object. So now, guys, let's move on to basic syntax. So in Java programs, it is very important to keep in mind this following points. Okay, Java program is case sensitive. Okay, so what do you mean by case sensitive? So meaning, if you use a small letter instead of a big letter or capital letter, so it will have an error. Okay, so it's case sensitive. The small letter and big letter has a difference. Okay, so let's say, for example, here, so the identifier hello here, when you type hello here, you use a capital H, and then on the second hello, you use a small h, right? So these two would have different meaning in Java. So make sure, or you have to be careful in using different cases in Java programming, okay? Because it is case sensitive. Okay, next, for class names, okay? This is if you're going to create a class, all right? If you create a class, you have to think of a name of your class, okay? So for all class names, so this is like the rule, okay? So the first letter should be in uppercase, okay? When you create a name of a class, it should be in uppercase. And then if several words are used to form a name of the class, each inner word's first letter should be in uppercase. For example, you create a class named My First Java Class. So this is how you should name a class, okay? The first letter should be in uppercase or capital letter. And then if you're going to use more than one word, okay, let's say here, My First Java Class. So these are 4 words, right? So every first word should be in capital so that you can read it and you can understand it more and better. Okay, so this is how you name a class. Next is how you name a method. So all method names should start with a lowercase, okay, or small letter. If several words are used to form the name of the method, then each inner word's first letter should be in uppercase. So I have here an example. So example, you declare a method public void, and this is the name, my method name. Okay, so the first letter is in lowercase, and then the next word's letter, first letter, should be in capital, just like this. My, small letter, and then method, capital letter for M, and name, capital letter for N. Okay, so this is how you will name methods in Java programming. Okay, so next, guys, is the program file name. Okay, name of the program should exactly match the class name. Okay, so make sure that when you create your class, for example, here you create a class that's named my first Java class, right? So when you create or save your file, so your program file should also have the same name of your class. Okay, so let's have here an example. So assume my first Java program is the name of your class. So the file should be saved as my first Java program.java. Okay, it should be saved as the same name as your class. Okay, the file. All right. So this is called the main method. Okay, this is the main method of Java programming. You have to remember this: public static void main. Okay, and then open parentheses and then string and then args. Okay, args for arguments, args, and then open and close bracket and then close parentheses. Okay, so this is the main method in Java. Okay, so Java program processing starts from the main method, which is a mandatory part of every Java program. Okay, it is a mandatory part. Okay, so meaning all your main main methods, or all your commands should be here inside the main method. Okay, so this is the main method: public static void main and then string args. Okay, so you have to remember that. So next, guys, is the Java identifiers. Okay, so Java has different identifiers. Okay, so all components of Java require names. Okay, so you have to be really good at naming your process, okay, or your components. So names used for classes, variables, and methods are called identifiers. Okay, all the names that you will give for your class, for your variable, for your method, so they are called identifiers. Okay, so there are several points to remember about identifiers. So here it is. All identifiers should begin with a letter. Okay, identifier should begin with a letter from A to Z, from capital A to capital Z, or smaller case a to small or lowercase z. Okay, it can start with a letter. It can also start with currency character, okay, like a dollar sign, okay, or an underscore. Okay, when you name identifier, you can start them with letter, currency character, or an underscore. So after the first character, identifiers can have any combination of characters. Okay, so the important part here is the first letter. Okay, after you use the first letter, even if it's a letter from A to Z, or currency, character, or underscore, the next letters, it can be any combination of characters. Okay, so a keyword cannot be used as an identifier. Okay, so in Java program, there are different keywords, okay? And those keywords, you cannot use it as an identifier, okay? I have an example for later. So most importantly, identifiers are case sensitive, okay? So you have to remember that Java program is case sensitive, okay? For example, at the beginning, you declare that the name of your variable starts with lowercase, and then during the program, okay, when you are on the middle of programming, you use a capital letter instead of a lowercase for your variable. So there will be an error, okay, because Java is case sensitive. Okay, so I have here examples of legal identifiers. So you can name the age variable age, like age, AGE. And then if you are going to save a value for salary, so you can start with a dollar sign and then word salary. And then if you are going to save value, starts with underscore, or first value starts with an underscore, okay? So here are some examples of illegal identifiers. So you can't use this in Java, okay? So why this one is illegal? So it's illegal because it starts with a number, okay? And all identifiers shouldn't start with a number. So this one is illegal. And this one, negative sign and then salary. So this is illegal as well because you cannot start with a negative sign. You can start with an underscore, but not a minus sign, okay? So now guys, let's move on with Java modifiers. So like other language, it is possible to modify classes, methods, etc. by using modifiers, okay? There are two categories of modifiers. So the first one is access modifiers. And the example here is default, public, protected, and private. So these are example of access modifiers. And then the next one, the second type of modifier is the final, abstract, and strict FP. So what is the difference with this? With these two, between these two? So access modifier, so from the word itself, access, so you can still access this modifier. Let's say you named your modifier with default, public, so you can still access that, okay? But if you named it final or abstract, so that is non-access modifier. You cannot modify your classes or your methods anymore if you use final or abstract or strict FP, okay? So that is modifiers. We have access and non-access. Next now guys, let's move on with Java variables, okay? So these are the types of variables in Java. So first one, we have local variables. So we have class variables. So these are static variables. And then we also have instance variables, which are non-static. All right, so later I will show you examples of these different variables, okay? So Java keywords, okay? So as you can see here on the screen, these are the Java keywords, okay? You cannot use these keywords as an identifier, okay? So let's say you are going to name your variable as short. So you cannot use that, okay? Because the word short is already a keyword in Java. So you can't use it as a name, okay? So these are keywords. Every keyword here has its own purpose in Java programming. So you have to remember all these keywords. You cannot use them as the name of your variable, as the name of your class, as the name of your methods. Okay, you cannot use them. All right, next guys is comments in Java. So this is how you put comments in Java. Okay? So writing a comment in Java is also important. Okay? It's really important because comment is just like a reminder or a note. Okay? So for example here, you created this program. So you can see this color brown here. So these are comments. Okay? You say this is my first Java program. So these comments here, the Java program or the Java compiler will ignore this, okay? It will not be compiled in your program because this is just a comment, okay? The compiler of the Java will ignore this because it's just a comment, okay? So it's just like a note or a reminder on what you are doing, okay? So this is very important as well in Java programming because if you are already like working on a lot of programs, so it's really confusing. So you have to write a comment so that you can like you will know what's happening in your program because of that comment. Okay. So let's try this example, guys. You can see here we have public class, and then the name of the class that we created is named My First Java Program, and then this thing here is a comment, and then this is the main method. Okay, public static void main, and then string args. Okay, and then open braces. Okay, and then here is comment as well. So there are two ways to create a comment. Okay, and I will show it to you now. All right, so let's go, guys, on our NetBeans IDE. Okay, so I already taught you guys how to install that, right? So let's go to my desktop because I've already installed my NetBeans. You can see it here, Apache NetBeans IDE 12.0. So this is the NetBeans that I showed you last time. So open this. All right, so let's open this and let's try the comments on Java program. Okay, so let's try that as an example. So let's just wait until the NetBeans open in my computer. Okay, you should also open your NetBeans, okay guys, so that you can also follow what I will be doing in this example. Okay, let me just close this. All right, so the first thing that you have to do, guys, is you have to create a project first. Okay, since I've just installed this, so there's no existing project here. So for you guys, it will be the same. So you have to create a project first. Okay, so let's go to file. This is how you will create a project. Okay, go to file and then click this new project. Okay, and then you can just choose this Java with Maven. All right, and then here you can just choose this Java application. Okay, and then you can click next. All right, so click next here to create your Java project. So click next, and then here let's wait until it finds the feature that I'm asking. So while waiting for the feature, guys, after you click next, so this will open. Okay, so you can just click this download and activate. Okay, because this is the first time that we use NetBeans IDE, so the settings are still not finished. So after this, so click next. All right, and then click this I accept and then install. All right, so after this, the plugins will be installed or download and then installed. So let's just wait for this. Okay, so after install, you can see installation completed successfully. So just click on finish. All right, and then let's go back here, and then Java application, and then next. Okay, so it's activating the Java SE. So let's wait for this. Okay guys, so after waiting, okay, this will open. Okay, this is where you're going to change the name of your project. Okay, so let's say I will change my project here. So let's say the project name is my Java program. Okay, so let's say this is the name of my project. Okay, so I'll just click finish. Okay, and then wait for it, and the interface of NetBeans IDE for Java will open. So we should just wait for this to open. Okay guys, so after you wait, so this will open. Okay, you see here, this is the NetBeans IDE for Java programming. Okay, you see here, this is the project that you created, my Java program, right? And here you can see the source packages. Okay, so you can see your project files. You can see your Java dependencies. You're using here JDK 14. Okay. All right. So what's we'll do here is, let's go to our my Java project, and then let's put here, or let's open new, and then let's create a new Java class. Okay, this one. So Java class. So click this, and then this is how you create a Java class. Okay, if you still remember earlier, I just discussed that you can create class, you can create object, you can create methods in Java, right? So this is how you create a class in Java. And from the definition earlier, Java class is like a blueprint or template where you describe the methods of the object. Okay, so this is how you create a Java class. Okay, right click here on your project, and then go to new, and then click on Java class. And then here, let's say on the example that I showed you, the name of the class is my first. Okay, my first. It's called my first, right? My first Java program. Okay, so let's say this is the name of my class. Okay, so my first Java program. So just click on finish. Okay, and then after you click that finish, so this will open. Okay, public class. All right, so let me just fix this for a while. Okay guys, so what happened earlier is we created a Java class, and as I opened it, there's no main method, right? So there's a shortcut so that you can just skip the main method. If when you create the class, the main method will be there already. You don't need to type public static void main string args. Okay, so what you're going to do when you create a class with main method, so click build, I mean new on your project name. So click new, and then other, and then choose the Java main class, this one. Okay, so when you create this, a Java class will be created with main method. Okay, so click this, and then you can change the name. So my first Java program. Okay, and then click on finish, and then as you can see here, there will be already a public class, and then here also automatically there will be public static void main string arg. So you don't need to type this on your own, okay? It will be automatically added on your class, okay? So as you can see here, guys, I will show you, this is the example earlier, right? This is a comment. This one is a comment, okay? So there are two ways on how you write a comment, okay? The first one is by using this symbol, okay? This forward slash and then asterisk, okay? So this is like an opening and then the ending should be, okay, like this. Once you entered, automatically the closing will be added, okay? See here. So let's go back again and do it again, okay? So let's say you want to write a comment. So this is the first way to write a comment, okay? So forward slash and then asterisk and then enter and then automatically here, this will be added. So whatever you put here inside will be considered as a comment, okay? Whatever you put between these two, okay, it will be considered as a comment, even it's a number or a letter or signs, okay, it will be considered as a comment. So the Java compiler will ignore this, okay? So let's say here, let's say this is a comment, okay? This is one way to create a comment. So the second is like this. Let's say this is a comment. So if you just put it like this is a comment. You see here, there will be red underline here. And this means that there's an error. Okay, if you want this to be a comment, so you just have to put here at the beginning 2 forward slash. Okay, as you can see, after I put this 2 forward slash, the this is a comment became a comment. Okay, so the Java compiler ignores all the comment. Okay, so let's say here in this example, your first Java program, and the first Java program that you want to do is display the word hello world. Okay, so how do you display something on Java program? So if you want to display on Java program, the first, or I mean the syntax for that is system, okay, dot out, dot print, okay, ln, okay. Choose this print ln here, okay, and then enter. All right, so once you've done this, so this is the syntax on how you display something on Java, okay. And let's say you want to display the words hello world, right? So you have to put here quotation mark, okay, double quotation mark, and then inside you just have to put here hello world, okay. So whatever you put inside this two quotation mark will be displayed in the output when you run your program, okay. So let's say this is finished, so this will display the words hello world. So if you want to try, so click this run project, okay, and then you choose this select main class, okay. And as you can see here below, you will see here your output, okay. So let's just wait for this because this is the first time that we run this program. So it will always be like this when you first run it. So it will just take a minute or two. So you can just wait for this to finish because it's compiling your program. That's why there's like downloading progress. Okay, so let's wait for this to be finished. And once it's finished, you will see here the output of your program, which is, it should be displayed here, hello world. Okay, guys. So you will see here once it's done. Once it's done building your project, you will see here the output is here. Okay. So you see here, this is the output. Okay. At my Java program, this is the output. Hello world, right? So let's say you want to change it. Hello Justine. And you want to see if the system.out.println is working. So instead of hello world, it should display hello Justine now, right? So let's run this by, you can just right click here on your Java program and then run file. Okay, and then you can see it's running the my first Java program. Okay, and you can wait and you can see here build success, and this is your output. Hello Justine. Okay, so this is how you display something in Java program. Okay, and that also, that is how you will create a comment in Java program. Okay, so this is the output here. Hello world. So let's proceed now, guys. So Java objects and classes. So Java is an object-oriented programming language. Okay, so a language that has object-oriented feature, Java supports the following concepts. Okay, so Java supports the polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, classes, objects, instance, method, message passing. So these are the concepts that Java supports, okay, because it is an object oriented programming. Okay, so later on we will be discussing all these concepts. Okay, so far I've already told you classes, objects, instance, method. Okay, so other concepts here of object oriented programming, we will be discussing it on further lessons. Okay, this polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction. Okay, so let's move on, guys. So objects, as I mentioned earlier, objects have states and behaviors. Okay, so this is the same definition as earlier. So a dog has states and it also has a behavior. And then class can be defined as template or blueprint where you describe your behavior or the state of your object. Okay, so now in objects in Java, let's now look deep into what are objects. Okay, if we consider real world, we can find many objects around us. For example, cars, dogs, humans. Okay, those are objects. Okay, and all these objects have its own state and behavior. Okay, if we consider a dog, the state is the name of the dog, the breed of the dog, the color of the dog, and the behavior is the barking, the wagging, and the running and the jumping. Okay, those are behavior. And then if you compare the software object with a real world object, they have very similar characteristics. Okay, software objects, they also have states and behavior. Okay, a software object states is stored in fields and behavior is shown in methods. Okay, so that is the methods and fields in software object. So in software development, methods operate on the internal state of an object, and the object to object communication is done using methods. Okay, so basically this slide here explains what's the difference between the state and behavior when it comes to object. Okay, so every object have state and have a behavior. Okay, and if you are talking about 2 or 3 or more objects here, if you want them to connect or communicate with each other, you can communicate using their methods. Okay, so classes in Java. So class is a blueprint from which individual objects are created. Okay. Following here is a sample of a class. Okay. So the example here, we created a class named dog. Okay. And inside the dog, you see here, public class, and then you see that there is an open braces here. Okay. And then at the end, you will see that there's a close braces here. So they should always be partnered. Okay, you see this one opening, the partner of this is here, closing. Okay, so you also have to be very careful in this braces. Okay, because if you miss one braces here, it will affect your program. There will be an error. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you deal with these braces. Okay, so if you open a braces, there should always be a partner like closing braces. Okay, so let's continue. Class, we made a class named dog. And then inside the dog, there's a state, right? And behavior. And those state and behavior can be defined inside the class. Okay, and in this example, we use a string. Okay, and the name of the behavior or the variable. So in this part, guys, we created three variables. We created variable for the breed of the dog, for the age of the dog, and for the color. Okay, for the breed, we use the variable type string. So string can be used to store mostly sentences or words. Okay, those are strings. And for int, for integer, mostly whole numbers. Okay, and then for string, again, it's for words, letters, combinations of words and letters or sentences. Okay, it can be stored inside the string. Okay, so these are the variables. And here, these are the methods. Okay, dogs can bark, dogs can be hungry, dogs can sleep. So these are three methods of a dog, and we use and declare the method using void. Okay, void, and then the method barking, void, and then the method hungry, and void, and then the method sleeping. Okay, when you create a method, so it should ends with open and close parentheses. Okay, and then should it always follows an open and close braces, and inside is where you put your method. Okay, so that is classes example. So Java classes, so it can contain any of the following variable types. Okay, local variables. So local variables are defined inside methods. Okay, instance variables, they are variables within a class but outside any method. And then class variables, they are the variables that are declared within a class outside any method with a static keyword. Okay, so we will not be discussing this for now because we have a separate discussion about these variables. Okay, so a class can have any number of methods. Okay, so to access the value of various kinds of methods, so you can use this barking, hungry, and sleeping. Okay, these are methods. Okay, next, so constructors. So this is the definition. So every class has a constructor. So we will not focus this for today because we have another discussion about this. So I just include it here so that you'll be familiar with the word constructor. Okay, so every class has a constructor. So if we do not explicitly write a constructor for a class, the Java compiler builds a default constructor for that class. Okay, so next. So here we have an example, okay, for the constructor. So let's say here we declare or created a class named Puppy. Okay, and here we have a public method Puppy. And then here we have another method here with the constructor name. Okay, so the constructor here is the name. Okay, so the puppy method, okay, inside this open and close parentheses, we add the parameter of name. Okay, so as you can see the comment here, this constructor has one parameter which is name. Okay, so creating an object in Java. So there are 3 steps when you create an object from a class. First, you declare. Okay, first you declare with a variable name with an object type. As you can see earlier, we declared the variable of the age, right? And we put int. So int is the type of variable, and then the age is the name of the variable. So we declare it there. And then we have the instantiation. So the new keyword is used to create the object. So you can use new to create a new object. And then initialization. So the new keyword is followed by a call to a constructor. This call initializes the new project. So I have here an example, but for now, I'm just gonna be showing you guys these examples because yeah, further lessons, future lessons, we will be talking about this more. Okay, because this is just basic syntax of Java. All right. So here we have class puppy and we have the constructor puppy here. And then inside we have parameter name. So, and then if we print here, system.out past named is, and then we put plus here and then the word name because we use here the variable name of the string name. So name. See, it's the same. Then here, inside our main method, we will call our constructor puppy. Okay. So here, we use puppy. And then this is the new, okay, the new object in your Java class. Okay. So you created a new object here that's called my puppy. And then using this object my puppy, you can give the name. Okay, you can give a name for the puppy. So you put here the keyword new and then puppy and then Tommy. So I know that it's confusing for you guys that because I've already talked about a lot of details about Java syntax. So you can just look at this. I'm just showing you this, guys, so you will be familiar with the construction of the program in Java, but we will have a separate discussion for this. Okay, I know that it's confusing for you guys right now. Okay, so that is the discussion, guys, on basic syntax in Java programming. Okay, so I've been talking for quite a while and I know that you guys are now confused because there's a lot of details and data about Java. Okay, so for this, you just have to remember the definition of class, object methods, and also the object-oriented programming. Okay, you have to be very familiar to, like, you should know to differentiate the object to class, object to methods, class to methods. Okay, you should be able to identify them. All right. So now, guys, let's move on. But before we do that, so can you guys maybe type number 1 if you are still there and if you are still okay. Okay, and if you understand the lesson about basic syntax of Java programming, so please type number 1. And then type number 2, guys, if you have some questions about the lesson. Okay, you can type it now. All right, guys. So if you have no questions so far, so we will now proceed on your activity for today. So Your activity for today is this worksheet 2.1 about Java basic syntax. So let's open this, and after we open this, you will see your activity inside. Okay, so let me just fix this because it's 2021 now. Okay, so let me just zoom in. Okay, so in this activity, guys, so you're going to answer some questions here about Java, and below is you're going to create a program, okay, in Java. Okay, so we have here part 1 on your worksheet, guys. So part 1, answer the following questions. So the first question is, what is a Java or Java programming language? So based on your understanding, guys, write your answer here inside the box. And then here, number 2, explain OOP or object-oriented programming. So explain it as well based on your understanding on the lesson that I've discussed about OOP. And then number 3, name at least 5 programming languages that you know. Okay, so at least 5. So write your answer here inside this boxes. Okay, so I want you to write your 5 programming language that you know except for Java. Okay, and then guys, on the part 2, you're going to create a Java program that will display or output your details. Okay, so I have here an example. Okay, so my example here, I created a class, and inside the main method public static void main, this is where I put the system.out.print ln, and then inside is good day wrong. Okay, so let's try this example, guys, if you are still confused with this one. So let's still use this. Okay, so let's say here I want to display hello. Okay, let's say hello, and then let's say I want to display another one. Okay, another line, display something on another line. Let's system.out.print ln. Okay, so enter, and then inside, let's say my name is Justine. Okay, and then let's say you want to add another one, system that out that print ln, and then enter, and then quotation mark, and then inside, let's say age is 23 and 4. Okay, like this one. So as you can see, I've created 3 codes, 3 line of codes using system.out.println to display these details. Hello, and then my name is Justine, and then age 24. Okay, so when you're finished with this, so you can just go here, or you can click this to run. But I always do is like right click on the Java program here and then run file. Okay, you can see here below that it's running your Java program. Okay, see, it's compiling, and you can see here it displayed here, right? So let me make it bigger. You see it displayed hello, and then my name is Justine. So this is just like what I've displayed here. Hello, my name is Justine, and then age 24, right? So this is how you display, or this is how you output in Java programming. So in your activity, guys, what you're going to do is you're going to display or output your details just like this one. Okay, in my example here, I have to display my name. So this is what you will be displaying as well on your activity using Java program. So display your name, your nickname, your age, and then your address, and then your so this becomes my name comes in twice, but you should ignore this. So after address, type here countries visited. Okay, and then Provide here your information. What country have you visited before? So let's say here, for my case, Thailand, Philippines. I put here. And then uh, here is what are your hobbies. Okay. So you play games, basketball, computer. Okay, computer games. Okay, and then dislike, traffic, and then what's your favorite movie. Okay, so this is what you have to display in your activity. Okay, you have to display this output. Okay, and what you're going to do here, guys, is once you're finished, so I want you to take screenshot of your output, just like this one. Okay, you can take a screenshot in your Apache, so like this. Take a screenshot of this. Okay, and then paste it here. All right, and then here is your image. Okay, so I want you to delete this. Okay, and insert here your image. Okay, your picture. Okay, you have to delete this and put your own picture here. Okay, and this one you also have to delete this and put your own screenshot here of the output. And then the program that you created, you also have to take a screenshot, just like this one. But here I blurred mine. Okay, so this is what you're going to do for today in this activity for lesson 2. Take a screenshot of your program and paste your program here. Okay, so that is your activity for today, guys. So in worksheet 2.1, again, part 1, answer all the questions here. And part 2, create a Java program to display and to output your details. And this is where you're going to paste your screenshot. Okay? So that is your activity for today, guys. So you can now start doing the activity. You can use all the remaining time that we have. And if you have any questions or any clarifications on our lesson and on the activity that I gave you for today, if you have one, let me know on the Google meeting and I will help you. Okay? You can start now, guys.